Hey, welcome back. In the last video, we glued up this EasyPod enclosure. Now I'll show you a way to put a connector in this aluminum end cap so that we can actually get communication with the camera that we're going to put into this enclosure. I'm going to be using these two connectors. This one has 8 pins and we'll use it to connect with the Ethernet port on the camera. And this one has 2 pins and we're going to use it to power the camera. They both have 7/16 20 threads and have an O-ring right above the threads, as you can see right here. This means we have to be careful to keep our through hole on the end cap smaller than this O-ring radius to assure that the O-ring can properly compress and seal when we go through this cap. There are a few ways to attach these. You could drill a hole through the end cap that is a nice tight fit with the outer diameter of the threads and put a nut on the inside to secure it, because you can see that this is longer. Or you can make a tapped hole directly on the end cap and use that to tighten the threads. In both cases, you have to be very careful that your hole and tapped threads are normal to the end cap. If you have a hole or threads that are at an angle to your O-ring, then when you put your connector in, it's at an angle, the O-ring will be unevenly compressed. This will lead to a potentially compromised O-ring. I'll show you how to make a tapped hole for this connector with a mill, because that'll keep it at a 90-degree angle. All right, we're at the mill. I'm gonna start by positioning my end cap onto this clamp. I'm gonna use these metal strips, which make it so the bottom of this sits on the strip instead of just this corner sitting on the clamp, because there's a radius here and that could be unsteady. Okay, got that clamped in there. Luckily this comes with pre-marked little notches in the end cap, so I'm just gonna drill into 2 of these. For a 7/16 tap, gotta consult my handy tap sheet, and I see that the minor diameter is 0.376. So I'll use a 3/8 drill bit to drill the hole, and then I'll tap into that hole. Okay, so I have my 3/8 hole drilled. I want to make sure that my tapped threads are parallel with my hole. So what I'm gonna do is, before I take this or move the XY position of the mill, I'm gonna actually put this cap into the mill and hand tap a few threads so that I know that they'll be lined up well. So now I have the thread started and I can finish it by hand. There we go. Now we got a tapped hole for that connector. I'm just gonna repeat the process for the other one. Nice. Now we have a way to connect to our camera on the inside of this enclosure. All that you would need to do is screw this connector into the threaded hole we just made, and you'd have a way to get into it while it being watertight. Another thing you should be aware of is you're going to want to use some thread locker on the holes for a final installation. This will just keep it tight and keep things from loosening up over time. When you apply the thread locker, you want to apply it to the threads on the end cap side, not on the bulkhead side, because if you apply it to the bulkhead side, there's a chance it could ride up the threads and then get on the O-ring, which would be bad for the seal. So if you're going to use the thread locker, make sure to use it on the end cap side. Cool, now all the enclosure steps are done, and all it's gonna take is actually connecting these wires to the camera, and we should be good to go. If you wanna see me actually put together this camera and test it out, go ahead and check out the next video. Thanks for watching.